So much for a very nice introduction, and I want to thank all of you for being here today. Really excited about telling you about a little bit about me, my story, and how I started doing art. And I call it football. I'm going to refer to soccer as football since it's a global, international sport. I want to thank also Dolly, who has been who gave me the opportunity to be part of this series and to close this series here, and of course the Institute of Hispanic Culture, all the members, and Trazos with Pamela and Liliana. So I will tell you more about my story, and this all comes from my passion for this sport. I really believe in this sport, and I like to see it in a positive way, even though now we live in an era where it is changing, but I think in general sports and arts reflect society. So I like to see it in a different way, in a positive way. So this is how it starts. When I was in Puebla, I used to play for the Puebla national kids team, and I had the opportunity to play at the stadium one day. I actually scored a goal, but I had one limitation, which is asthma. I have asthma since I was maybe 4 years old, and that really didn't, that limited me to keep playing, because I would end up in the hospital out of breath, and I couldn't train all the time as the other kids. So that's how it started. That was my dream, like many other kids in Mexico or in other countries. And yeah. And then that was a dream, to be part of this sport all the time in a different way, and I found it with my art. And the way I started was, well, this is my first painting I did in 1982. I was only 10 years old, and my parents asked me to do this painting, and that's what I painted. I don't remember too much, but it's ironic in a way, and I put it here because I don't paint bodies and faces anymore. So now it's ironic that my first painting has a nude baby with a piano. And then the process of my paintings, it starts with, well, the first sketch is nude players, so naked players. That was my first intention when I wanted to create something different in art and football. So I did that concept where I would only depict the flesh, and I grew up with the Renaissance and Dutch masters, so I wanted to create something similar to them, but that didn't really catch my attention. So I evolved with other sketches, and I wanted to create something that would have a meaning or would represent something in the sports. So that's when I decided to take out the bodies and the faces. And that's the process. The first sketches was more like, they were more expressionistic. Mm-hmm. Then this is how I actually started painting, with this kind of a sketch. And then I do the painting, which are mainly acrylic on canvas. I think the next slide is, we'll see one. This is my first painting that I sold. I sold this to a guy in Argentina. He found me online. And that's how I started becoming an artist professionally, through internet. I try to inspire or encourage other artists to always put their work online, because that's the way that now people can find you, and you can connect nowadays. So this was my first painting. I take out the bodies and faces because I like to focus on the jerseys. I like to focus on the colors of every team. I think that's the essence of this sport, and it unifies people. In many countries, this sport is like a religion, or more than that. It's more than a sport. I think also by removing the players and the faces, you focus on the team. I think every sport it's about the team. It's not about one player. And in different sports, we like to focus on different players. But in my art, I wanna express the concept about the team, and that's how I think every sport has to play. Then over the years, when that was a hobby, I got my first international project from Brazil. They also found me online, on my social media, on Facebook, this agency, they asked me to do 5 paintings for this team that they had won 5 victories in South America. This is from Brazil. Porto Alegre, they have won all, like every kind of a victory they can win in South America. So they wanted to commemorate those victories through a different concept. And they asked me to do 5 paintings. Their client was Reebok, so Reebok was a sponsor, and they did posters and distributed them all over Porto Alegre. And they mentioned me on the website. I got to keep the original files, original paintings. I just had to find the digital files, and they did the posters. And then they mentioned that the original paintings are now like special edition pieces. So that project really motivated me to keep doing this professionally. That's when I saw the potential of becoming an artist and do this more and more. That's the website. I'm back in Brazil in 2012, and those are the 5 posters, and that was all in Portuguese. I kept painting over the years. 2012 was a crucial year for me because my life really changed. I left everything that I was doing, and just for my art. I kept painting and I started getting more commissions and projects. And I started doing rivalries. And in football, what's really or fascinates me is how one sport can be at the same time just a game, but there's so much rivalry that you can find even a lot of violence. So in Argentina, these 2 teams, they hate each other. There are many stories. I listen from different people that write about football, and they interview people from Argentina, and it's just crazy that how they think just about for one sport. So that really inspired me to keep doing this this kind of work. This is my iconic painting, El Clásico from Spain, Barcelona, Real Madrid, and these are the 2 most popular teams in now in the world. The composition is symmetrical. The background is a dark background, so it has a lot of different elements that it makes it a unique painting and the icon of my paintings. I sold this in 2014 at the highest price that I ever sold a painting, and I make reproductions of my work, and I've sold other reproductions. I only have 1 left. So this is the most successful painting I will say that I have. Then this is a video of how I make my paintings. I put together different images from the process of this painting. And so this idea, this concept allowed me to keep dreaming and exhibit in different parts of the world. I started with exhibitions in New York in 2013. I started to put myself goals and exhibit my work in different World Cups. I thought that would be a goal that I wanted to do for every World Cup, because I wanted to share my work with all the football fans all over the world. So I had the opportunity to go to Brazil, Rio de Janeiro, in 2014. Then I was able to go to Milan in 2015. And then the Women's World Cup in Vancouver in 2015 as well. I made an exhibition in my where I'm from in Puebla in 2016. then another different ones in Houston, but a big one in 2016. And then I just came back from Russia, from Moscow, exhibiting for the World Cup as well. In the next slide, you will see like different photos of all my different exhibits. And then publications from different newspapers. This was in Italy. When I got there, it was one of the best experiences going there, because before I got there, I already had a few publications, all in Italian, and they love football and art, and they wrote really poems about my work. So I was very flattered and honored to have all those from there. Then I also started doing murals, so just my work in different scale. My architecture background.